Have you ever encountered a verse in the Bible that made you pause, not because it was beautiful, but because it was uncomfortable? C.S. Lewis, one of the greatest defenders of the faith, once pointed to Matthew 24:34 as the most embarrassing verse in the Bible. In that passage, Jesus says, quote, "Assuredly, I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place," unquote. Now, Lewis was honest enough to admit the dilemma. If Jesus was talking about his return or a great tribulation thousands of years in the future, then he was simply wrong. The generation he was speaking to is long gone. For over a century, the American church has been under a specific spell. Many of us were raised on a diet of dispensationalism, waiting for a secret rapture, focusing on a rebuilt physical temple, and viewing modern geopolitical Zionism through the lens of biblical prophecy. We've been taught to look at the newspaper to understand the Bible rather than looking at the Bible to understand history. But what if I told you that we haven't been left behind, we've actually been hoodwinked? What if the end times that Jesus spoke about weren't the end of the physical world, but the end of the old covenant age? And what if we have traded the victory of Christ for an ear-tickling fantasy of escape? Now, I want to invite you to break that spell. I've been reading a book by Ron Partain. It's titled The Most Embarrassing Verse in the Bible. Partain approaches this topic like an attorney building a case. He doesn't rely on modern political headlines. He relies on historical context, original Greek and Hebrew texts, and the concept of audience relevance. He asks the simple question: how would the first century disciples, the people actually standing there, how would they have understood Jesus' words? And when we return to a plain reading of Scripture, the embarrassment vanishes. We find a Jesus who is accurate, a God who is faithful to his word, and a kingdom that is present and moving forward rather than a geopolitical strategy rooted in a 20th century intrigue. Now, it is time for the church to stop waiting for an escape and start living in the reality of Christ's established reign. Now, I'm asking you to do three things. First, pick up Ron Partain's book on Amazon Kindle. It's only $10. I receive no commission. Second, bring it to your book club or your small group. And third, have the courage to ask, what if Jesus meant exactly what he said? Let's stop reading the Bible through the lens of modern politics and start reading it through the eyes of the disciples. It's time to trade the fantasy for the truth. Now I'm out.